Hi, welcome to Shiloh May. This is Linda. Today we're going to work on this cute little applique angel. Okay, we're going to start with this pattern here. I was inspired by Canva. I went on there and looked at angels, and then this is my own take on that. I have my pattern pieces here for my angel, and then I'm going to use this old pillow sham that I've had, and I am going to applique it onto this pillow sham. But what I'm going to do is take the pillow sham and turn it into a tossed pillow. So I'll be using just about half the pillow sham. All right, here's our pieces. I have my halo, my two wings, my body, and my head. And now I'm going to choose my fabrics. And I have this layer cake. This is a charm pack, which are 5-inch squares. A charm pack of material that these are going to work. The only one they don't work for is the dress. So I'm going to take and I'm going to piece two pieces together to make for the angel's dress. And I'm just sitting here trying to figure out which ones I want and which order I want them in. So my pillow sham has a white background. So I'm going to sit here and see, I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm going to sew them together. And then it's going to be long enough, extra long enough for my angel's dress or body. I'm going to just continue here picking out different fabrics for the different pieces of my pattern. Okay, my decisions are made. I've picked out all my fabrics. This fabric is by Andover and it's called Sugarberry. And I'm not sure if it's still available, but it has some beautiful fabrics, prints in it. So I've gone to my sewing machine, I've sewed these two pieces together. This is the parts for the dress. Oh, my iron's not on, so guess what? I'm gonna have to plug it in and wait. So while we're doing that, we're gonna get out I'm using heat and bond. You can use whatever type of iron-on adhesive that you like, but I'm going to cut some pieces out to attach to my fabric so that I can bond this to my pillow topper. So I'm just cutting out my heat and bond pieces. Here's the piece for my dress, and I'm cutting out the piece for my head. And I'm just going to continue doing this until I have them all cut out. All right, I have my pieces all cut out of my heat and bond, and my iron's hot now, so I can press my seam on my two charm pieces that I stitched together for my dress. Then I'm going to move on to ironing my heat and bond to the back of my fabric. Got to have that done. Got to get it done. This is going to be so cute. I can't wait. Okay, so here I'm trying to decide on my dress which fabric I want at the top and which I want at the bottom. Decisions. Still can't decide. But I've decided this direction, so here I'm going to put my heat and bond on the back. I am trimming it down a little bit so the heat and bond does not hang over the edge of my fabric because I do not want it getting on my ironing surface. So now I'm just going to... So now I'm pressing the heat and bond onto the back, and you want to do what the manufacturer suggested ironing protocol is. Usually it's like hold it for 10 seconds or so, and you don't want to really iron it back and forth because that may cause your heat and bond to come up, and then you'll have it on the back of your iron, or it may cause something to slip. So just kind of... You just want to go in a down and up position with your iron. Okay, I'm just going to continue on here. I have this in fast motion, so you don't have to be bored with it, but I'm just attaching all my heat and bond to the back surfaces of my fabrics. Make sure you're putting the bumpy side to the back of your fabric. Okay, next step, we are going to cut out our pattern pieces. So here I'm laying my dress or body part of my angel onto the two fabrics that I stitched together. I'm going to pin it down, and I wanted to make sure that my heat and bond is covered by or my pattern is covered by the heat and bond on the back side. You can use sew tights, you can use weights, whatever you need to cut out your fabric. I'm using scissors here, and my old time go-to, you can cut these out on your scanning cut, your Cricut, if you want, however you want to do it. But this is just my old-fashioned way of doing things. And sometimes it's just easier to do it this way than to mess with all that other stuff. Even though all that other stuff is really nice to have and nice to learn. This is going to be so cute when we're done. Just waiting to see. I'm going to fast forward this video and you can watch quickly as I continue to cut out my pattern pieces. All my pattern pieces are cut out, and now I'm moving over to my fabric, which is my pillow sham, and I'm going to cut out my square for my pillow. I'm showing you here that the pillow sham does have a backing, and I'm just going to cut that out too. Not sure I'm going to use it when I get ready to put my pillow together, but I am just going to go ahead and cut it out. So this pillow sham has, as you can see, it's quilted. This is a pre-bought quilt and sham set that I have had for a while, and I've decided I don't want to use these pillow shams anymore. I'm using a 15.5-inch t-shirt grid. This is by June Taylor, and I decided that's going to be a good size. By the time I'm done, the pillow cover itself should measure about 15 inches. I can use a 16-inch pillow form inside of it. It'll be perfect. All right, so I am using the lines on my quilt sham as my guide to where to put my cutting ruler. And so I'm just going to cut this out all the way around. All right, we have our pieces cut out. Now I'm going to move over to my cutting or ironing surface, and I'm going to lay my pieces out. I'm putting my wings underneath the dress, so hopefully that end of the wing will be caught underneath the stitching surface. And then I will put my head over the top of the dress. I have a measuring stick here, a ruler that I'm measuring just to make sure the bottom of the skirt is even from both sides. And I just need to move it to the left a scooch. So now we're at like 5 1/4 on each side, making sure again my wings are tucked up underneath the dress, just less than 1/4 of an inch, and that the head again is placed over the top of the dress. All right, and the halo centered over the head. I think we're ready to press this down. Just like before, we're going to use our iron. We're going to press down for about 10 seconds or whatever your manufacturer suggests. Lift up, move to another area, press down for 10 seconds, lift up, move to another area, press down. You can really see that this is pressing the quiltiness out of the background material, but that will fluff back up as we use it and it's washed. Now we're ready to start sewing it down. So I'm doing a decorative stitch here along the place where the two fabrics met that I sewed together, and it's just going to be a little scallop stitch in like an aqua teal color. Then that color's in her dress and in her arms and in her head and in her halo. So just add a little decorative stitch here. And as I'm showing you this, I'm going to speed up the process in some of the areas after I get started. But this is pretty short, so I just picked a decorative stitch. You don't have to do this. You could add lace here. You could add rickrack. You could do something fun. But there's what it looks like when it's done. It just adds a little special touch to the bottom of her dress. Okay, so now I'm going to do the halo. And I am going to put my stitch on a triple, I think it's usually called the triple stretch stitch or stretch stitch. But what it does is the stitch goes forward, backward, and then forward, forward, backward, forward, forward, backward. And it makes like a straight stitch, but it's a little thicker. So you can use any kind of stitch you want here. Now I'm trying this out on a scrap piece of fabric because I just want to see how close I want the stitches together. So I started out at like 2.5 for stitch length, and then I changed to 2.0. And that's going to make it a little easier to go around the curves of the halo since they're really tight. Tight curves call for shorter stitches. It makes it look a little nicer. So I don't know if you can see, kind of see the difference there in the stitch length. But to the left is where it was further apart. To the right is where it's shorter. So I'm just going to do that around probably about an 1/8 inch from the outside loop of the halo, and then I'll do it again on the inside loop of the halo. So remember, when you get to the curves, you want to make sure your needle's down in the down position, and then lift up your presser foot and turn ever so slightly to continue on. Now, if you're using this stretch stitch, you want to make sure that your needle has gone. Using this stretch stitch, your needle will go forward, back, forward, forward, back, forward, forward, back, forward, forward, back. So make sure when it's on the, let's see, forward position, you want to make sure your needle's down then, so you have a smooth transition around the curve. So forward, forward, back, forward, turn, forward, back, forward, forward, back. So when it goes forward and then goes back, you want to make sure that you're on that downward. You'll see. Practice on a scrap piece of fabric. When you're done with the outside of the halo, then you're going to go back and do the same thing on the inside of the halo. Here's what it looks like when the halo is all done. Can you see the 2 rows of stitching? I know it's hard. All right, the next thing we're going to do is the wings. So I've decided I want to do a blanket stitch on the wings. And so I have got my scrap piece of fabric out, and I'm practicing on that to see, again, the stitch length, the stitch width, to make sure it's what I want. So here's what I've decided on. The blanket stitch, and it's close together, and it's not really very deep. So make sure that when you're starting, if you're doing a blanket stitch, if you want to try something new, you want to make sure you're going the correct direction, and that your straight stitch is on the outside of the wing, and then the blanket part is towards the inside. So I'm going to speed this up so you can see what it looks like when I'm done. Again, make sure you're stopping at the corner with your needle down, lifting up your press foot, turning. And so every time you go underneath the wing, you're going to have a sharp turn to make. Okay, so here's the finished product as far as the blanket stitch goes. I hope you can see it. All right, both are blanket stitched. And I've already done the head. So what I did was I went back and did the triple stitch around the head, about 1/8 of a way in. And then I chose to do the triple stitch on the head again. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm triple stitching around the head about 1/8 of an inch in. For the body, I'm going to blanket stitch around it. So this is fast forwarding, but I'm using red thread and blanket stitched all the way around, making sure to catch the neck edge, because I wasn't sure that when I did the triple stitch on the head that it actually caught the top of the dress. So the last thing we want is for our things to come apart. So just be mindful of that. All right, here we are. She's all appliqued onto her pillow top. Isn't she adorable? Now remember, you can embellish this however you want, but And watch for part 2 because we're going to turn this into a pillow. Thanks for watching and have a great day.